You guys come to AMC theaters, what movie you want to see? You want to see a Pedro Pascal movie? Or you want to see a Pedro Pascal movie? Or do you want to see a Pedro Pascal movie?
Well, I'll be damned. This movie, despite all odds, despite me and a lot of other people on the internet thinking this was going to be absolute trash, especially when they gender swapped Silver Surfer, especially when they talked about Johnny Storm basically being not a womanizer anymore, especially when they talked about Sue Storm being the leader, I'll be damned, this movie was actually good and the complete polar opposite of what every person was saying up until now. But this movie was not fantastic.
Say that
again. They've done it. They've done the impossible task of actually putting out an above-average movie that was enjoyable in an era where we have seen flop after flop after flop, and terrible movie after terrible movie followed by terrible Disney Plus show where a woman gives herself over to basically Satan himself.
Riri, I see you. I see you're fed up, waiting to be acknowledged for your greatness.
We actually get real heroes in this movie. The Fantastic Four are a beloved team in this movie. They are respected by all. The men actually get to be men. Sue Storm is not a girl boss, would you believe it? Shia LaBeouf, Silver Surfer, is not a girl boss. They actually feel like real, tangible human beings. Not only that, they are celebrated by the community, beloved by everybody in New York City. The people of New York wave American flags in their honor. This was nothing like I was expecting at all. I thought this movie was going to be absolute woke trash, and it was the complete opposite. And then Superman was even worse than I thought. And that movie is going to lose way more money than this one, because this one was way better. This movie was way better than Superman. Okay? I hated Superman. I really did quite like this movie. It reminded me a lot, actually, of Captain America: The First Avenger, where all of a sudden Marvel Comics had to deal with a period piece film. The tone feels different. The structure feels different. The hero's own sense of worldview and morality is basically conceptually different than a lot of what we've seen in the MCU recently, right? We've continuously seen in recent years this kind of gray line in superhero movies where they're not quite good and they're not quite bad. They're somewhere in the middle. People in Hollywood have pushed this message and the audience has hated it. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm happy to say that the Fantastic Four are actually heroes, good people doing good things for the sake of the good of mankind. There is a strong central theme of familyhood. Not only familyhood, but protecting your child, parenthood. There is actually a positive outlook on parenthood and raising a child in this movie. I cannot believe it. Where are we? This feels like it was made like 12 years ago, back before all this nonsense took over, before all this trash, garbage, woke trash, anti-womanhood, anti-mother messaging started to take over. This is a gem. In a super dark era of our entertainment history, okay? This is going to be looked at, I think, in the history books as a very, very interesting standout case, yeah? Because they virtue signaled for this movie so hard, I was convinced it was going to be just abysmal, all right? The female Silver Surfer thing is still really stupid. There's no getting over the fact that that was a terrible decision. As for how she was handled in this movie, I actually didn't mind it. I genuinely could not believe it. It's still stupid. It should not have happened to begin with. But I actually did not mind it the way I thought I was going to. So all of you haters out there who have hated and disliked every one of my Fantastic Four videos, what are you going to do now that I've said that I actually liked this movie? Are you going to say that I've come around? That I'm seeing reason? No, because I am not on your side. So I'll never see reason. Anyway. Yeah. I'm glad that I got to see a movie with classic heroism, good moral traits, a very clear moral line here. None of this gray nonsense we've seen in the last 10 or so years. No deconstruction of your heroes. And they really leaned into the comic book aspects of this movie as much as they possibly could. And I loved that. Marvel is notorious for always trying to modernize things and change the source material and make things not so recognizable to their comic book counterparts, except for the first Captain America film. Well, this is about as accurate as you possibly could be. Like, this was incredible. Galactus. Ooh, boy, they really did a good job here. I genuinely was terrified of Galactus. I can't say that I felt genuinely intimidated by a Marvel villain basically since Thanos. This is the movie that Marvel should have let out the gate with right after Avengers Endgame. Had they took a break during the pandemic on Marvel films after Endgame, waited about 2 years, and then immediately relaunched with this movie, this would be like $1 billion hit, easily. But now, because they've damaged the brand so bad, I highly doubt this is going to reach like 800 million. I think this will probably reach 700 million. And unlike Superman, which spent way too much money, at least this movie has a decent chance of making a profit because it was not as expensive. I actually liked what they did with Sue Storm. They actually made me like Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. And I had seen like that weird clip of Pedro and Vanessa like getting all touchy and like feely and stuff. Who, by the way, Vanessa is married and she's pregnant with her husband's child. Yeah, so it's a little bit weird. They're getting all touchy-feely. That was on my mind going into this movie because I'd literally seen that clip today, like a couple hours before. And so it took me a while to basically try to drop in and separate Pedro from Reed. And then eventually, as the movie got going, I started to see them as characters, not as the weirdos that they basically are. Could not stand Pedro Pascal being Pedro Pascal for 2 hours if that were the case. But yeah, the men get to be men. The women get to be women. Mothers get to be mothers. The Americans actually get to wave the American flag. People are proud of them in this movie. People love the Fantastic Four in this movie. They're respected, and that was my biggest issue with Superman. Nobody respected Superman in that movie. They liked him. They did not respect him. And that's the difference here. Every member of the Fantastic Four got respect, including Johnny Storm, who, by the way, flirts with a crap ton of women. Girls like him. They got a crush on him. He even flirts with a Silver Surfer at some point. Like, whatever he said about not being a womanizer, that was false. Whatever they said about Sue Storm being the leader, that was false. Whatever they said about this being a female-centric girl power story, that was false. Why would they do this? Why would they say this when it wasn't true? Maybe there was a lot of reshoots that I was unaware of behind the scenes to change all that. I honestly don't know. But it's so strange because whatever they were saying was the complete opposite of that. The same thing happened with Superman. They kept talking about how Superman was going to be an immigrant story, a highly political charged film, and it wasn't a political film. It was just a dog shit film. By the way, let's check on that box office. Ooh, they ain't going to make that money back. They're going to lose like like $300 to $500 million when this is all said and done. That's what happens when you spend $500 million making your film. So this movie, Fantastic Four, will make more money than Superman. Normally, I spoil things, but this movie I liked enough that I'm going to respect you, the audience, and not spoil it for you. I actually think you guys should see this. It's crazy to me that I'm actually recommending a Marvel film. I can't remember the last time I've done that, except for maybe Spider-Man No Way Home, Avengers Endgame. I have not recommended any Marvel films basically outside of that. In 4 years, think about it, guys. In 4 years, since Spider-Man No Way Home, arguably the last good MCU film, the only good films we got, decent in fact, were basically Thunderbolts, which some people liked, some people absolutely hated. I was one of those people that liked it. And now this movie. In 4 years, they have made 2 good films. And now Avengers Doomsday has been delayed till late next year, 2026. So that's like a year and a half of no Marvel films at all. We know behind the scenes right now, it's a mess. They just brought in a brand new writer to work on the script because they're shooting the film right now, as we speak, without a finished script. They're making a movie with no finished script. You know how much of a logistical nightmare that is on set? You know how much everybody must be running around right now on the set like headless chickens? Goodness gracious, man. And never mind that there's so many A-list actors attached to this movie. Like, this movie costs like freaking $1 billion probably. So any profits that Fantastic Four is making is gonna get wiped out by the box office performance of Avengers Doomsday. Because no matter how successful Avengers Doomsday is, there ain't no way that they're going to be able to make enough money back to turn a profit. You know how expensive those salaries are? They paid RDJ $100 million to play the Doctor Doom. Oh my. Man, I would hate to be the numbers guy, the producers, the people that do the taxes on these movies at Marvel. Like, oh, that poor bastard. Give that guy a raise. Yeah. I like this movie. I don't think it's going to matter long term because they're just going to continue down this downward trend. I don't think Marvel's going to learn any good lessons from this. I think they're going to learn all the wrong lessons, and they're just going to go right back to shit next time we see them. We'll see how Avengers Doomsday is. There's so many names attached. I don't think that this movie's going to be good. There's no way it works as a coherent story. Not to the way that this movie did. What worked about this movie, the best thing in this film, is that it wasn't really a superhero movie. It was basically a sci-fi action film, a science fiction film about the Fantastic Four being astronauts, explorers, more than superheroes. And because it felt so different, and the movie took itself seriously, they didn't have an MCU crack a joke every single second, like we're used to with Guardians of the Galaxy. That was the problem with Superman. When the movie got serious, it was actually good. And that's why I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, like I said, the wrong lessons will be taken from this success. We'll see how it does at the box office. But I think the days of $1 billion Marvel films might be done. Anyway, guys, that was the video. If you liked this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I will see you guys in the next one.
Say that again.